hell are you thinking, Madison? Why did you just come out of that place with Raymond? What is going on with you, Sherry? Coming at me with all these phone calls without at least giving me a text first? Stop trying to act like what you've done is not a problem and get to explaining things. I heard from Raymond that for the next month he'd be out of the state for a business trip. But for some reason I saw you going into his house yesterday. And after a full day, you are finally coming back out of that house? And not just by yourself, but with Raymond while the two of you share laughs and smiles? What? You've been watching me in his house ever since yesterday afternoon? I knew it! You are just his stalker. I wasn't watching you in his house like that because I enjoyed it. Recently, I've noticed that Raymond has been acting pretty suspicious. And when I've been over at his place the past few weeks before he left, his room smelled like someone else's perfume. There have also been days where he wasn't responding to my texts at all. And that's why yesterday, when I had finally had enough of him ghosting me all the time, I went over to make sure he was actually on a business trip, and there you were. So, Madison, you've been the one going out with Raymond then? And so what? What are you trying to say about me, Sherry? Just because you're only finding out about this now doesn't change anything. Although you are finding out a lot sooner than we had both expected. What is up with that attitude towards me? Raymond is supposed to be my fiancé right now, right? Are you a freaking idiot? You're going out with your friend's fiancé right now. Huh? From what I've been told, he's no longer engaged to you anymore. He's planning on getting married to me now. So stop trying to play this as though you've been cheated on when there's no love between you guys anymore. Huh? He told me that he's thrown you away and will be marrying me when the time's right. So no matter how upset you get over this, it's not going to change the fact that he's mine now. Raymond has finally become my man now. What? Wait a second. You guys are planning to get married now? For a long time now, I've been trying to get him to fall for me, but recently he finally took the bait and came after me. For a little while, he wasn't even bothering to look at me, and hearing that he'd gotten engaged to you made me really sweat. But I was able to make one last play that ended perfectly for me. He finally came around to me and said that I'm the one. You've been going after him this whole time? What? Madison, have you always been in love with Raymond the whole time we've been friends? That's right. Ever since middle school with him, I've always been watching him, waiting for him to come to me. What? However, for some unknown reason, he never did come to me, instead going for some basic chick like you. Even making sure to let everyone know that he had gotten engaged to you last year. You really were so lucky to get a part-time job working at the same place as him. But it wasn't fair because I had been eyeing him up for years before you ever met him in college. He knew that I was into him, and even now he tells me that he felt my love. And since he's felt that love from me far longer than from you, it's natural for him to come back to me. What? So you've been going after one man, Raymond, ever since middle school? After middle school, I followed him to the same high school, and after high school to the same university. I made sure that I was never out of his sight this whole time. And when the time came that I finally knew I needed to go and ask him out, he fell for some chick at his part-time job. But that wasn't what upset me, because I thought for sure that your guys' relationship wouldn't last long. But here we are, years since then, and you guys became engaged. So that's why I had to take action and steal him from you before it was too late. What's so wrong with having to do that, Sherry? Wait a moment. So back then, when you started to work at the same place with Raymond and I, it wasn't just a coincidence? The day after I started to go out with him, you began to work part-time with us at that place. You already know that wasn't a coincidence. I had to know what kind of woman he had started to go out with, and that's why I began working there. But you didn't even take a second to realize that he was mine and just stood around smiling and talking all happily about your relationship with him. However, even though it hurt me so much to have to see you both being happy, I had to stay on him, and that's why I became your friend. Well, that was all just a sham, Sherry. I had just come from out of town to that local college in town, and while there, I didn't really have any good friends. And even with all the people I ran into every day at school, I just couldn't find anyone to call my friend. Just as I was beginning to feel real loneliness, I had found someone like Raymond and a person to call my friend. Well, me being all friendly to you was only a part of my plan at getting even closer to Raymond. I knew that by getting you to trust me, I'd be making my chance of getting him a whole lot better. It was all just so I could break you both apart and slide right in. That was your plan this whole time? And that was all just because you happened to be able to get to him before me, even though he's mine. But hey, I was just lucky that you were desperate for a friend, or else I might never have been able to get you to think I was a friend to you. To be honest, you are one stupid woman, and having to be around you a lot was really degrading. And I tried so hard to get Raymond to notice me the whole time I was faking being your friend, but for some reason it took more work to get him than I thought. Heck, I even started to make mistakes at work and blamed them on you to try and get Raymond to leave you, thinking you were useless. You're kidding, right? That whole time working there after you came, I remember our boss yelling at me all the time for things I never did. So that was all because of you then? That whole time you were just trying to get me in trouble and fired while faking being my friend? And as time went on, we all graduated from university and college, and unlike you, Raymond found a proper job. I really thought that would have been the moment he left you since you couldn't find yourself work, but just as I started to get ready, I heard he had become engaged to you. But that didn't last too long, because all I had to do was tell him my true feelings, and he came to me. If I knew it would have been that easy to get him, I should have just told him my feelings a long time ago. You are such a complete jerk. I can't even comprehend what's happened here because of you. I seriously thought this whole time that you were a real friend to me. However, you never thought of me as your actual friend. And not even that, but you've hated me this whole time? Well, you've also been trying to get Raymond away from me? The only jerk here is you, Sherry. You came out of nowhere and took my man away from me without ever considering my feelings. Do you get it now, though? It's over for you. Raymond is all mine now, and there's nothing you can do to get him back. So you stay the hell away from us now and never ruin my relationship again. I've heard about it all from Madison. The one you've been cheating on me with has been her. And she said that you left me for her and plan on getting married to her now too?
I heard about all of this as well from her. She told me that since yesterday, you've been standing around my house watching us? If you really felt that I was cheating on you, you should have just said so to my face. But instead, you became my stalker and made yourself look like a freak.
You have no right saying I'm the freak when you've been the one cheating on me. Are you not going to at least apologize for what you've done?
Why would I apologize for something I don't feel wrong about doing? I have finally been able to find the number one girl in the world for me, and she's been in love with me a lot longer than you have. So, what's wrong with me choosing her over you?
Huh?
It's so beautiful thinking that she's been in love with me ever since middle school. And what's even more beautiful is that her dad is actually my department manager. I had no choice but to go for her now that I have work relations at stake.
You're telling me that her dad is your boss?
He has the same last name as her, but I never thought that he'd actually turn out to be her dad. But if I'm able to get married to his daughter, I'm sure that will lead to me getting some major promotion within the company. There was no reason for me to stay with you now when I have a gift like her.
You're throwing me away for her, all because she's your better chance at getting promoted? That's your only reason for throwing away the person you've been together with for years and years now?
You're far too old now to still be working odd jobs like you have been. For a long time now, I've actually been resenting ever going out with you, back when we worked together, because you turned out to be such an idiot. If it wasn't for me always being here to help you out, you would be nothing more than wasted meat. Heck, even before I finally jumped over to Madison, the only real way you were making any money was by coming over to my place to do my chores for me. Really, you've been more like a housekeeper than a fiance.
A housekeeper? Is that how you've been thinking about me this whole time? So you never loved me for the woman I am, but rather just because I'm able to help you get chores done?
Men love women that are able to get cleaning and cooking done. You would even come over to help me do some of the nastiest jobs, all for a little bit of cash from me in return. But even though you did a good job for me, I've stumbled into an even more amazing and useful woman. Not only is she madly in love with me, but her dad would be my best shot at a promotion. She's perfect.
No, she is not.
Ah, that's right. I've made sure, just in case you want to come, to send you an invitation to our wedding. Make sure to take a good look at it and RSVP soon.
Why would you send something like that to me?
Don't make up anything in your head about this. I'm not sending the invitation to you because I want you there. I want you to stop stalking me now, so hopefully seeing me happy with Madison will make you stop trying.
Huh?
I feel that by saying the truth, that should be enough to even teach an idiot like you that I don't love you anymore. Seeing the evidence of me kissing her after putting on her wedding ring should stop any more thoughts about me from entering your head. Man, you should be so thankful that I'm putting this much thought into you still after having thrown you away. I'm a really nice guy, aren't I?
Hey, Sherry, why are you here showing up to our wedding? And are you completely brainless? Why did you show up wearing a wedding dress yourself? The only person that should be wearing a wedding dress today should be the bride, me. But you're not the only one that's a bride today. Because I myself am a bride today. Huh? Did all that shock of losing Raymond to me melt your brain away? I'm the one that's going to be marrying Raymond. And just because you're here in that perfect fitting wedding dress doesn't mean that he'll come back to you. I'm sorry to say this, but I'm not here to try and get Raymond back. Then why are you here wearing a wedding dress? You were thrown away by Raymond months ago, and that makes you the loser. Huh? You think that I'm the loser after all of that? I do. You were the one that got thrown away by your fiancé and had to learn that your friend was never actually your friend. So after having lost the both of us, why are you coming back? You're not going to be able to get him back now because I'm the one that he's chosen to marry. I'm only here in a wedding dress because today is the day of my wedding. Huh? But my wedding starts later today, after yours. And the only reason I'm already in my wedding dress now is because I'm just getting back from a photo shoot this morning. But while we have a break in the photo shoot, I've come inside to go to the restroom. But I forgot where the restroom is, and that's how I stumbled upon this room. And just when I was going to turn around and leave, I saw that this is your guys' wedding. You're going to be having your wedding here later today? What are you going on about? You shouldn't have anyone to marry anymore, right? You lost Raymond to me only a few months ago. So what? Are you just having a wedding by yourself now and are getting photos of yourself taken outside? I understand that Raymond is all yours now, but that doesn't mean that after he left me, I couldn't find someone new to become my husband. And so that new man that I've found is going to be with me for our wedding day. Huh? You found yourself a new man? That's right. I'm getting married to my boss from work. Now, hold on. You're getting married to your own boss? In other words, you're getting married to that old man that was our manager back when we were all working part-time there? I get that after being tossed aside by someone as amazing as Raymond, you try to rebound off of someone else, but... But that's just gross, Sherry. Huh? Well, come on. That old man is in his 70s by now, and you're planning on being married to him? And what's even crazier is that that man was pissed off with you all the time there after what I did to set you up. He really wants to be married to you now? You both must really be that desperate. For him to give up the last bit of his life for someone like you must mean real desperation. You're still young, Sherry. You should rethink being with a gross old man like him and call things off before you tie the knot for good. I'm not getting married to my old manager from that place. I'm getting married to the CEO of the company I currently work for. The CEO of the company you currently work for? And I'm just going to let you know this right now so that you don't continue to stay confused. I am not working as a part-timer anymore. After graduating from college, I worked that part-time job a little bit longer after you guys left before being hired into my current job. And as of right now, I'm working a lot less hours to keep up with all the work I have to get done there. I'm at the point now within my career that the company and my husband trust me with all the projects. Huh? So you're not working a part-time job right now? You're actually a full-time employee now and are working for a decent company? And what's even funnier is that I often go to the company Raymond is working for to help out. But anytime I told him that, he just said for me to keep my dreams to myself. He for some reason believes that I'm freelancing and doing odd jobs. Well, that's... How are you helping with the company he works for as well? And how have you managed to become close to your CEO? There's just no way you could be able to do all of that. You can believe whatever you want to, but this is all true. Now that was enough talking for now. How about we both just wish for both of our weddings to go well today?
Hey, it's all just one big lie, right? That you were going to be marrying the CEO of the company, right? And you do know that the CEO was actually the CEO of a company that's a huge customer of mine, right? So how the hell is he going to be getting married to you now?
If you really are finding it hard to believe me, you are more than welcome to come sit in on our wedding today. My husband has a lot of guests coming today, so there'll be a lot of seating and we don't plan on making it private. So even you can slide on in for a quick second later today to see with your own eyes who I'll be the bride to.
What?
At first I was really upset to have my wedding at the same place as you both. But it seemed that we needed a place that has a lot of room like this building, so there was no other choice for us in town besides here.
Hey. Please, Sherry. Can you please tell me that all of that is a lie? If I actually have to believe that you're going to be married to one of the company's biggest customers? And one other thing, it's only been 3 months since you and I fell apart. How are you able to get up from that so quickly and find a new man to be married to? There's no way that all of this is anything but a lie.
You are right to think that this was a pretty quick turnaround. But he explained to me that he wanted to get married even sooner than I did. It appears he's been in love with me for a very long time now and already knew I was the one for him. And so he didn't want to take any more chances waiting on me.
You're telling me that your CEO has been into you for a long time?
He apparently has known about me for a very long time now. In the past, he'd hide who he was from me and come around that old place we worked part-time at to see how I was doing and things like that. And so that's how he knows me from all the way back then and about the work I'd done.
Huh?
I don't want to say this considering it'll make me look like I'm tooting my own horn here, but he seems to have been in love with me ever since the first day he laid eyes on me. And ever since that day, it only took a few years for me to end up within his company. But when he was finally able to see me again and introduce himself to me on a more personal level, I was with you, and so he had to give up for a bit. But later on, after he heard about how you cheated on me and we broke up, he was waiting outside the office while I came into work and asked me out on a date.
You're freaking lying, right? The CEO of that company, he's been in love with you this whole time? And not only in love with someone for that long, but with some part-timer he shouldn't even be worried about? Why did this happen to you?
It is pretty wild to think that he's been in love with me ever since I was working part-time there. But now I can finally begin to understand the power love like that has, much like the love Madison has for you. After all, she's been in love with you ever since middle school, right? Luckily, she is way more useful than me, and that's why it was so easy for you to throw me away.
Well, that wasn't...
Well, now that we're both with people who have loved us forever, even before we knew them, let's treat them with the same love and live happy lives together. After all, they gave up a lot of their time staying committed to us. So let's give back to them by showing equal or greater love. Now, I need to get back to having more pictures taken before the wedding. You both have a wonderful wedding today. It's because of you that everything fell apart. I never asked for a marriage like this. Why the hell is this all happening to me now? It's all because of you that my life has been turned upside down. Huh? What's happened to you? You were finally able to get married to Raymond after all those years spent being in love with him with no reward. Shouldn't you be having the best marriage ever right now? How could this be the best marriage ever? Every time that he looks at my face now, he just lets out a big sigh and then walks away. And he tells me this every single night. He tells me that he should have stayed with you, and that way you both could have gotten married and his life would have been so much better. Are you serious? He talks about how amazing you must be for a CEO to be willing to love you. He says things like how you must be more than just a decently useful woman, and that there must be some magic to you. And then he always finishes by saying that even though I'm the daughter of his boss, he never sees any benefits to being married to me. My. He really has been saying some terrible things to you. I have been trying so hard to get all the chores done around the house for him. But even with all my hard work, he compares me to you, saying that you always made better food for him and made things around the house a lot neater. He said he didn't even have to ask you to iron his shirts because you'd have them done the moment he took them off. He even said that even though he had to pay you a little to do all of that, everything turned out a whole lot nicer for him. All he talks about is you and never says anything nice about me. Now that I've heard all of this, he seems to still have feelings for me then. You may have loved him longer than I did, but that really isn't going to keep his mind thinking of you. Well, I've had enough. And that's why today I went back to my parents' house crying to them. He literally threw you away from me. Yet now he's complaining that I'm not good enough like you were. This is all your fault for making his standards so high. I told my parents all of this, but instead of calming me down and telling me it was going to be okay, they started to get angry at me. They told me that I deserve all of this. Well, it seems to me like your parents are two very understanding people. What about them is so understanding? My dad won't even listen to me anymore and is super frustrated with me. He keeps asking me what I've done for Raymond that's better than you. And that me being the daughter of Raymond's boss doesn't automatically make me better in every way. Well, he makes a great point. Because unlike you, I'm in the same position as your dad now, working as a department manager while you're just a housewife. I'm not happy with any of this. I was supposed to end up with someone better than you could end up with, yet now you get to be the wife of a CEO, and it's heart-wrenching. The Raymond I'm with now is not the man I used to love. If I'd known he'd still be thinking about you, I would have never married him. Right, that makes sense. Life would be a lot better for you now if you hadn't married him. So, is there anything right now that has anything to do with me? Please don't tell me you came to me looking for some kind of care from me, right? Because as far as I'm aware, you're the one that stole him from me. I get that someone like Raymond is a pretty terrible man and that you're all upset with him now. But blaming me for something you did to yourself is not going to get you anywhere. And honestly, I don't care right now that you feel so badly. What? Why are you being so cold to me right now? Aren't we supposed to be friends? I was so close to you and everything, so how you're acting right now is so hurtful. What? Now you think that we're friends? Weird, considering a while back you told me you only faked being my friend in order to get Raymond from me. So you aren't crap to me, Madison. Which means after this, don't even bother trying to talk to me again. Huh? It's because of you that this is all happening to me. Yet you won't even listen to me and try to help fix this? Listen, you dog. Your dad had to tell you about who I am now, right? Yet you're still going to sit there crying like a little baby? Well, if that's how you want to play this, let me tell you something. I could go to my husband right now, telling him about how you won't leave me alone, and you know what? He'll make sure that both your dad and Raymond don't have jobs after today. My husband won't go easy on them either, making sure that they understand just how rude it is of them to let their wife and daughter blame me for something I never did. Please stop! If you do something like that to me, my dad will only become more angry. No, he won't just get angry, but he'll kick me out of the house. And then Raymond will only grow more frustrated with me and it will all be over. Then stop all of this BS and leave me the hell alone, okay? You need to stop messing around trying to hide from Raymond and learn that you are his wife now, and you have to deal with the life you asked for. Or maybe, since you had the nerve to break our relationship apart, you can go get a divorce from him and find another man. If you're really going to complain this much, you must have the energy to do something besides be a pain in my neck. A divorce? I can't. We were finally able to get married. Then learn to deal with him complaining about you not meeting his standards or work harder to meet them. You chose this path, so stop with all this BS. You've loved him ever since middle school, so you should have it in you to love him until the end. Right after that last message to Madison, I never heard anything else from her again. And according to the rumors, those two's relationship ended up turning cold, to the point that neither of them would ever talk or even look at one another. But of course, one day Madison ended up blowing up on Raymond. She began to yell at Raymond to divorce her if he was going to regret marrying her so much, and that he wasn't the man that she used to love who was cool and loved to talk. And because of that, for the next 3 months, those two continuously fought one another on their marriage. And these days, whenever Raymond gets home from work, he's met with Madison wearing very middle schoolish type of clothes and talking to him as if they were back in middle school. Well, all I can say is that they've both started to go off the deep end. And I really don't know what else there is to say about where their relationship will go next.